Welcome back to the Shipyard. Today, top 10 Dominion that aren't Cardassian cards. So these can be captains, admirals, crew, tech, weapons. Could have been ships, didn't end up being ships. I'm not sure why they didn't end up being ships, because there's some decent ships. I like some of the Dominion ships. I just don't end up flying them. They're not my forte. So please don't yell at me. By all means, suggest really good Dominion ships. Love to hear those. Um, they're just not my specialty. So, anyways, let's get into this. So, number 10 is the Changeling Infiltrator. Now, this is a card, and I'm stalling here because I need to set up Utopia as well. But Changeling Infiltrator is a card I honestly couldn't tell you what it does offhand. And I say that because, well, it's new, and I don't have the encyclopedic knowledge of all the new stuff. But in reading it now, and reading it back when I made my list, I like it because it lets you copy a crew. And anything that lets you copy crew, um, even this being opposing ship and limits on range, and having to do it at the activation phase, it gives you the benefit of your opponent's stuff that you don't have to pay for, that you don't have to have a slot, and you get to do it even after you've used their stuff to destroy them. And that's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, I like to think so. So, yeah. Um, you know, Changeling Infiltrator is a pretty good card. Not the best by any means, but something I like, something you can build around, something, well, actually not necessarily something you can build around because you have no idea what your opponent's going to run, but something um, you can look at and analyze, something that's very tactical, and go, okay, what helps me right now? You do that, and you will succeed. Number 9 is Omet Econ. Ometaclon? It's probably Ometaclon. But, yeah, this very straightforward card. When you attack with a primary weapon, convert a blank into a hit. There should be a blank symbol there. But now you can only put this on a Jem'Hadar ship. Big whoop. You run it on an attack ship. You run it on a Breen. Don't run it on Breen. Don't run Breen. Run Breen in like one situation, but or you run it on the battleship battlecruiser. Ometaclon has some use. It's very expensive. Bohica does it better. Absolutely does it better. But you have to have a battle station token to run Bohica effectively. Ometaclon basically is consistency. Now, I was going to say it lets you hit with Energy Dissipator fairly consistently. No, because it's whenever you attack with a primary weapon. So they did think of that. But running it on the battleship or the battlecruiser, those are 5 or 6 attack die ships. Getting extra quality, passive quality, is a very good thing. Now, 5 points is pricey. And that's why Ometaclon is down here at number 9. But I still think there's something here. Number 8 is Duranidar. I still am fascinated by the name because it sounds like a Tyranitar. But Duranidar is kind of the interesting tech specialist. You get a tech upgrade slot, That's almost always useful. The Romulans would love a version of this. Um, but after you do a red, you put 3 time tokens on it, and you don't receive Aux Power tokens this game round. That's not just for the maneuver, although it does work for that. It's for the rest of the round. Now, the best use of Durandar is on Zindi Weapon 0. So, pull a red, and then also use your ability as many times as you possibly can, or on the Mirror Defiant. Uh, you get the idea here. Couple him with Robinson Cisco to take his upgrade, right? When the cost of doing something is an Aux Power token, and you can't get Aux Power tokens, you're coming out ahead. Just a thought, and probably a good thought. I don't know. I like Durandar. I think there's something here, and there's something more Dominion stuff, more stuff in the game can build off of this, and there's some cool combos that could be had. I don't know how far it'll ever get, but there's something here. Number 7 is Ion Thrusters. This is kind of a it's a tech. That's good news. It's kind of like Chemosite Light. And so Chemosite becomes significantly better. But after you reveal a straight maneuver, you may disable this card to add 1 to the maneuver's number. 2 becomes a 3, 3 a 4. And no ship can have more than 1 Ion Thrusters. Okay, that's fine. This is the card that makes me realize that A, Chemosite is very underpriced. Perhaps brokenly so. Or B, Ion Thrusters just needs something more. It also is one of the cards that makes me realize that maybe Dominion Pure doesn't have the most upgrades going for it. Because there's some stuff lacking. But regardless, Ion Thrusters has some fun to it. It's optional, so you can turn a 1 into a 2 at will. You can turn a 5 into a 6. And you maintain color. So a 2 straight green can become a 3 straight green. And those types of tricks, being able to... how do I want to say it? Being able to assess the situation when it's your turn to move makes Ion Thrusters very good. Well, at least good. It's what made Reverse Course very good. It's what makes Chemosite very good, is being able to essentially alter your move without altering your move. I digress, and that's probably a different video. But it's still a viable card. All right, number 6 is a card I've already mentioned. It's Energy Dissipator. Now, Energy Dissipator has been around basically since the beginning. And yeah, I love the effect. I really enjoy seeing this in the game. I do not enjoy having it done to me, and that's just a mess. But Energy Dissipator has drawbacks. Don't get me wrong. I still like it. I still appreciate it existing. I still appreciate a card that forces a ship to do a specific maneuver the next round, that drops shields. Energy Dissipator, if it wasn't restricted to Breen, like it is, I mean, I know 10 points off Breen, 11 off Dominion faction, it would actually be a very potent weapon against Borg. Now, good luck getting within range 1 of a Borg ship, but still, it's the type of card that could actually work against the Borg, because then you drop their shields. Now you can hit them and kill them. See, there were always answers to Borg, it's just the way that the game was designed that made it very difficult to do. Again, a video for a different episode, or a topic for a different video. I'm kind of feeling like Alton Brown and Good Eats, but that's another show. Anyway, I like Energy Dissipator. I like running it. I have fun putting it on the Reliant. Who didn't try that at least once? Because you want 180. You want just more arc. Nobody wants to fire Energy Dissipator from a 90-degree ship. That's silly. You want it off 180. 360 would be even better. Put this on a Borg ship, and it's kind of cool. Nothing says you can't. It's just make an attack. No primary weapon arc. Nothing. Anyway, again, it's weird. It's weird and it's fun, and it injects a lot of thought into how to avoid it. Don't be like me and fly directly into it and get it in range 1 and go, oh, that's bad. Yeah. With that in mind, number 5, Weyoun 6. Now, this is a captain definitely from a bygone era. And the captain is not named Weyoun 6, but it's the skill 6 Weyoun. And I have to identify them as such, because the other versions of Weyoun, the skill 7 and the skill 8, just, they don't quite do the same good stuff. This Weyoun, you disable Weyoun to prevent one of your crew upgrades from being disabled or discarded this round. This Weyoun, in combination with Hood Riker, gives Riker 2 extra defense dice. So figure out a crew that you can disable to get more defense dice that Weyoun would then disable, that Riker then gets more defense dice and converts, or even more attack dice. Something beneficial. And then you can... There's a lot of combos that exist to make all of this stuff happen. Nowadays, I'd like to see this with time tokens. 3 time tokens on Weyoun. That would be nice. Then you get him back passively, and you can't continually do him. Because there's ways you can Weyoun every round. But anyways, that's been talked ad nauseum before. Still, nice combo with Hood Riker. And one of the few captains you actually want disabled. But, yeah. Weyoun 6 is a good captain. The very old captain combo was Weyoun Veril. And you could essentially cancel 1 attack per turn. Little crazy. Especially when your ships only had 1, or when you were only flying 2 ships. But, yeah. Speaking of ways to save your cards, specifically your crew, we have Shroud. I really feel like I'm talking about the good old days. But if this is not a Dominion card, I don't know what is, because this literally says if one of your Dominion crew is supposed to be discarded, discard this card instead. Yeah, it's a way to use all these Jem'Hadar one more time, for a Shroud. It's the only reason I bought a second 4th Division battleship. I think that was the pack that this came on. I think I bought 3 of them in total so that I had 3 Shroud because I wanted to run. I think it's a crew that's higher on this list, or not yet seen on this list, multiple times. And he would be discarded every time I would want to use him, so I wanted Shroud to keep on using him. Silly reason to spend 10-15 bucks. But, people have done stupider things. Anyway, Shroud is a very nice card, a very cheap card to just say, yeah, hey, I'll run one more of that. Why not? Okay, number 3, the cloning facility. This is a new card. I believe it came on the card pack. But yeah, this is one where you get to target a Dominion crew that's on this ship or a friendly ship, so kind of the opposite of the Changeling and Infiltrator, right? Infiltrators go to the other side, cloning, you clone your own stuff. And this card becomes a copy of your own thing. So you can actually run a cloning facility with an infiltrator, clone the infiltrator, send the infiltrator out to copy your opponent's stuff, have 2 infiltrators. May or may not want to do that, but you can target your own Dominion stuff to get more of them passively and keep doing stuff. You could clone Duranidar. There's all kinds of fun things to clone. Now, are there enough great Dominion crew? I don't know. You can clone Bohica, technically. Bohica is technically Dominion. I don't think it was meant for that. But, again, that's a different day. Needless to say, I like cloning facility. I think there's some fun untapped potential. It's still a bit pricey, but I understand why they made these copy abilities pricey. Number 2, Tactical Command Reticle. Reticle? I still don't have that right. But, yeah. This is... This is the way you get more weapons, and the way you get more attack dice. It's one of the few that only can go on a Dominion ship, or can only go on a Dominion ship. Has to go on a Dominion ship. Maybe that's the way to phrase it. You get a weapon slot. Those are useful. Place 2 time tokens on this card. Roll an extra attack die. Do that every other round. Why not? It's easy. It's nice to toss it on Jem'Hadar attack fighters. Nice to put it on the big ships. It'll be nice to put it on the Cardassian stuff when that comes out. Because 6 die Keldons. Yes, please. So I'm on board with this card. I think this is great. I wish we had more copies of it, but I will enjoy playing with as many copies of this as I want on Tabletop Simulator. And yeah, there's a reason that is my number 2. Because cheap ship unique stuff, I'm all for. And I'm really glad that that's ship unique and not unique, and also not unlimited, because with Sakona, it's how many weapon slots could you get, and then you can roll plus 3 dice every round if you wanted. But that brings us to number 1, and number 1 is Ramataclon, and I hear all my Dominion fans out there breathing a sigh of relief, because I actually remembered Ramataclon. And for whatever reason, I have either spelled Ramataclon wrong, or... I have spelled Ramataclon wrong. Ramataclon. They've either spelled Ramataclon wrong, or he wasn't in Utopia. Either could happen. But Ramataclon, at the end of the activation phase, if your ship is in the forward firing arcs of at least 2 ships, discard this card. Captain skill goes up to 2 more attack dice. And you use this for all of your attacks during the round. So anything that does multi-stage firing is fantastic. And the only downside is you cannot use this against Borg because Borg do not have forward firing arcs. Ramataclon has a few downsides, but nowadays with people running several Brels or other cheap Klingon ships, I think Ramataclon is viable at least, and has a good place in the game. All right. I know there's one card where you go, why in the world is that not there? All power to weapons. And I tell you, there is a very good reason. Even though it came in the Dominion faction pack, I love the card. I'm just not 100% sold that it is a Dominion not Cardassian card. I also didn't really put any talents there for that reason. Now, if you want to argue and say that this is a Dominion not Cardassian card, then we can put it at number 1. So I will give you that choice. You are the viewer, and I leave you making your own decisions. It's a very limited card. It can only go on 2 ships. Well, that's not true. It just has to go with the Dominion captain. It can go on any Dominion captain, as long as it's on a ship with a hull of 5 or more. It can go on a lot of ships. But losing your shields and only being able to do green maneuvers telegraphs a lot of things. But getting 3 extra attack dice is worth a lot. So there's some use here. There's a lot of ways you can fly with all power to weapons. And it's pricey. 5 points, 6 if you go off faction. But maxing out your attack dice can be really, really good, especially if you have something diverting a little bit of fire away from this ship. That's how I'd run it, at least. Bring a nice Colo, something like that, alongside. Because you don't need to draw all the fire. You just need to draw a little bit of it. All right. That is it for the top 10 Dominion, not Cardassian cards, or the top 10 Dominion that aren't Cardassian cards. I will leave you with this question. Do you wish that Cardassians were identified as a subfaction of the Dominion? Personally, I do. I wish that Cardassians were their own faction and they were treated as a subfaction of the Dominion. Because I think that Cardassians would be a decently strong faction. I mean, they have 2 ships, 2 ship types. They have Gallers and Keldons. I guess they technically also have the Hideki fighters. They'd be a moderately strong faction. Combining them with the Dominion makes sense. That happened. But the Dominion is made up of 3 empires in the Dominion War. You have the Dominion, you have the Breen, and you have the Cardassians. The Dominion itself is much like the Federation. They took over a lot of stuff. But I have hit the 25-minute mark, and that is definitely my cue to get out, especially on a top 10 list. So, anyway, thank you all for watching, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care.